Joe, you did noble service for your country, and you checked that big box, the President of the United States. Of course, as a politician, you're naturally going to say, but the work is not finished. Of course not. It never is. But it's time to let someone else finish it. You don't want to go down as Ruth Bader Biden.
It's official. Joe Biden has officially lost Bill Maher. We're going to take a look at Maher's latest announced defection. We're going to see how unfortunately incoherent his reasoning actually is, and why in the end he's yet the latest Democrat to call on Biden to officially withdraw from 2024. This past weekend, Bill Maher delivered a devastating monologue calling on Joe Biden to officially withdraw from the 2024 election.
And finally, new rule, someone has to convince President Biden that if he runs again, he's going to turn the country back over to Trump and go and go down in history as Ruth Bader Biden. The person who doesn't know when to quit and so does great damage to their party and their country. All of us who like Joe Biden have been struggling lately with the political situation in the Democratic Party. An incumbent we admire who acquitted himself well in a first term, but who even members of his own party don't want to see run for a second, despite a touching letter of recommendation from Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. I kid, they shouldn't have gotten shit for that. If you ask me, do I think Joe Biden can do the job of president? My answer is an unequivocal yes, he can do the job. Do I love everything? No, but that's every president. But government work is done in small, quiet rooms like the Oval Office. And in that setting, Joe's compassion and centuries of experience are pluses. And he's generally made good decisions that got us out of Afghanistan, handled Ukraine, kept the economy chugging, finally got us rebuilding infrastructure, returned a sense of normalcy. There's a term for Joe Biden, but not two.
Those are Democrats, gang. Those are Democrats applauding. Now I've got to take Bill Maher to task there. This is what happens when you've built a career on pretending to be smart. Periodically your boneheadedness comes back to bite you, as it were. What you just heard with your own ears were the terms good decision and Afghanistan withdrawal in the same sentence. Even the most left-wing of pundits and commentators admit that that withdrawal was an unmitigated disaster. In fact, even Axios is admitting that the Afghanistan debacle was the beginning of Biden's political suicide. His poll numbers plummeted and his presidency never recovered. To put good decision and the Afghanistan withdrawal in the same sentence is absurd. And then, as if that weren't bad enough, Maher brings up Biden's handling of Ukraine as something that's been stellar. Again, Maher is demonstrating himself to be utterly clueless here, about as clueless as Biden is. The hundreds of millions of dollars wasted on the Ukraine fiasco, together with all of the blatant propaganda and lies and deaths, may indeed make Afghanistan look completely successful by comparison. In fact, virtually the whole of the non-Western world is recalibrating around the BRICS economic partnership, largely because of the weaponization of the globalist financial system, which was championed by one Joe Biden. And then he brings up Biden's economy as something to be lauded, even with 75% of likely voters think we're in a recession. You can't make this stuff up. And you'll note, he didn't even so much as glare at the horror, the deliberate horror that's taking place at our southern border. So that, frankly, was just absurd. Hey, gang, we do have a very concerning development that's happening with regard to central bank digital currencies. Now, you may have noticed that up until now, the digital dollar or the central bank digital currency has been a little more than just a headline. But right now, things are developing at an alarmingly rapid pace. It started with a sweeping executive order from the bumbling Biden administration, and now central banks are even hiring for their development. Here's the thing, and you know this. A digital dollar, when all is said and done, a digital dollar means centralized control. It can be used to track your purchases, control what you buy, and even seize and freeze your assets like we saw with the Freedom Convoy. That's why it is so critical you protect your money with precious metals like gold and silver. I partner with the top-rated precious metals company Goldco, and they've helped patriots move over $1 billion into the timeless value of gold and silver. And now, gang, it is your turn. Right now, they're giving you up to $10,000 in free silver while supplies last. Plus, all qualified callers this week will receive a free Ronald Reagan silver coin. So don't wait. Click on that link below right now and do what countless patriots are doing to make sure that bumbling Biden never, ever has control over all your money. Go to the link down below to learn how you can get started today.
Because while he can do the job, what he can't do is run for it. Our campaign season is long, and it gets icy in New Hampshire. To those who say he beat Trump once, he'll do it again, I say things change. They always do. The parade moves on. 2024 is not 2020 in so many key ways, including, yes, Biden being 4 years older. You can be a national treasure and still be too old for the job. If I'm on a plane and the pilot says, "This is your captain, Buzz Aldrin," I'm getting off. At some point, perception becomes reality. What matters is voters think Biden's too old. What matters is he's going to lose to Trump, who's almost the same age, but his age just doesn't read like Biden's. Maybe it's because Trump is insane. Maybe it's because he's always a ball of white-hot anger, but for whatever reason, he looks robust and Joe looks like his own skeletal remains.
All right, there you have it. Bill Maher is now openly admitting what a number of leftist pundits have been admitting for weeks now. Trump is going to crush Biden in 2024. I mean, at this point, there's just no way around it. There's no other math that works. Biden is going to get absolutely crushed. They were seeing it in poll after poll after poll where Trump and Biden were tied. They saw that week after week. Trump and Biden were tied. Trump and Biden. Then Trump started to move ahead of Biden by a couple of points. And then the horror of horrors, that ABC Washington Post poll last week that showed Trump beating Biden by 10 points. I mean, gang, that was it. That officially sent the political left into a total and complete meltdown. And now you're hearing more and more pundits openly saying Joe's got to go. Joe has got to go. And Bill Maher is, frankly, playing catch up here with that refrain.
Joe, you did noble service for your country, and you checked that big box, the President of the United States. Of course, as a politician, you're naturally going to say, but the work is not finished. Of course not. It never is. But it's time to let someone else finish it. You don't want to go down as Ruth Bader Biden.
What you just saw there was perhaps the best attempt that I've encountered thus far at trying to hold two contradictory views together. One, Joe Biden is awesome. He's awesome. Two, Joe needs to go. Joe Biden's like the best stage performer imaginable. He's a brilliant, noble actor who needs to never act again. He needs to exit stage left, and the sooner the better. Democrats like Maher have convinced themselves that Biden is basically the only Democrat who could lose to Trump. And so the logic here is that if you shake up the race by nominating someone else who's younger and more vibrant, they'll crush Trump by as much as 55% of the vote. That's what they really believe. These idealistic Democrats, unfortunately, do not see that we're in the midst of a stunning political paradigm shift where the working class, both white and non-white, as well as younger voters, have lost all confidence in the political class. And for right or for wrong, polls show the Democrats are seen as the political party of the political class. Trump has tapped into that dynamic like no one else. And so in the end, I would argue, Biden is losing not because he's old and senile. That's true. That's certainly the case. But he's ultimately losing because he's seen as part and parcel of the permanent political class that voters no longer want anything to do with. And Democrats like Maher running around saying that Biden is great, but he needs to go, only serve to confirm precisely those suspicions. Are you ready to join the resistance? Because I'm leading a group of dedicated, courageous patriots who can lead a spearhead into the heart of the secular globalist establishment. We punished Bud Light and Target, driven CNN and the legacy media to near bankruptcy, forced BlackRock to backtrack on ESG, and now we're seeing our conservative-dominated Supreme Court ending affirmative action and protecting religious liberty. In my Insiders Club, I show you concrete steps to take locally and online that will only keep this mass uprising going until the battle is won. Don't wait. Click the link in my description below and join my Courageous Patriots Insiders Club today.